I know we're a little off kilter the way I'm filming today, but I wanted a little window light. Like it just feels nice today because the sun is actually shining. We've had like a week of gray weather here. So hey guys, why don't we catch up? Let's get ready together and hang out. I am in need of just a slow, chill video with you guys. It's been a lot of shopping content videos because it's that time of year. I did a gift set video or two. I've got a gift ideas video, I think coming up next, like after this. A lot of Amazon like last minute gift ideas too. It's been a lot of that because it's that time of year. So I really was craving just doing a sit down video, chatting with you guys and catching up. So that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, I'll try to remember to link anything you're seeing me use because I don't think we're gonna really be talking about a lot of the makeup today. We're just gonna chat. A lot of you guys sent in some questions as well as usual on my Instagram, which is it's Jessica Braun, B-R-A-U-N on there. And boy, there were some doozies. So some burning questions y'all had that I'm going to try to tackle, try to do my best. So stay with me. If you're only interested in certain topics, I can put timestamps below. You can fast forward through. So I want to thank today's video sponsor, which is Rakuten. I have used Rakuten for probably over 10 years now, every single time I shop. So it is the largest cashback site. They work with over 3,500 retailers. Sephora, Ulta, Kohl's, Macy's. I'm trying to think of sites I've bought from recently. Nike, you name the retailer, they probably work with them. And it's amazing because not only do you get cash back on purchases you're gonna make anyway, but they also provide coupons and promo codes in addition to it. So it is kind of an all-in-one shopping tool that is so easy to use. One way you can use it is you can click through to the site you're wanting to shop at on Rakuten's site, and that will automatically track your shopping so that it will apply the cash back. It is so easy. You don't need to do anything else other than that. My favorite way to use it is I have the browser extension installed. And so anytime I'm shopping on, let's say Sephora, very likely, it will just pop up while I'm shopping and say, do you want to apply X% cash back? I'll just click yes. It will automatically, whenever I check out, track that cash back and add it into my account. It is that easy to use. It is totally worth it. I get my check throughout the year and it is amazing because that is free money that was just kind of sitting on the table for things that I was going to be buying either way. And of course, with the holidays right now, like this is a season where a lot of us are maybe buying more than we usually do. And if you're going to be buying those things anyway, you might as well get a percent cash back. And a lot of these sites have higher percent cash backs throughout the holiday season too. So it is an awesome time to join. And it's also an awesome time to join because they're offering a $40 sign-up bonus with a qualifying purchase. That is a large chunk to get you started in your cashback journey. So I will have the link to get that $40 sign-up bonus in the description box and in a pinned comment. Thank you so much, Rakuten, for sponsoring this part of the video. Alrighty, so let's get ready together. Just to kind of catch you up to speed of what's going on in my life, not much. I'm trying to think, when you're watching this, we're in the throes of vlogmas, which is very exciting. But right now, when I'm filming this, we're not quite there yet, but I'm gearing up mentally. I know a lot of you guys know, so I'm sorry. Some of you guys are like, Jessica, we've heard the media blitz about vlogmas, but in case you're new to this channel this year, it's where we vlog our everyday lives every day in December. So we have been doing this for many, many years. A lot of you guys go over to the channel we upload them on, which is my husband's channel, Tyler Braun. If you search that, you'll find it. I can link it below as well if that's easier. And I'll go ahead and link the first day or two that should be up by the time you're seeing this, which is so exciting. At least day one is up. So definitely go check it out. We'll add them all to a playlist. So I'll probably have that linked in my videos if that's helpful as well. But yeah, we vlog every day and it has become such a tradition. It's so much fun. And just share what we're getting into. So if you're into my vlog content, you'll like them because they're even more chill. Like they're even more, I don't know, maybe you get tired of us. I would. I got a question from one of you guys asking like, do you still get that like, ugh, my own voice when you're watching back your own videos or editing or whatever? And I was like, oh yes. Like, I'm like, ugh, my face, ugh, my voice. Like, you get tired of yourself. Like, ugh. What is going on in my life? I feel like because we're entering the busy season, it has been kind of chill, which has been really, really nice. Last year at this time, we traveled right after Thanksgiving, and that was very, very stressful considering we knew we were starting Vlogmas. We were trying to pre-film some stuff, and it was just like I just remember at this time of year last year feeling really stressed. So it is nice to just not be doing too much this time of year. So yeah, I kind of worked on some of my pre-holiday things I typically do and got a lot of those things checked off, or at least gotten the ball started on some of it. I have not bought not a single Christmas gift yet. I certainly have my list of ideas for, the kids. I mean, that's easy. I know what they would want, but we're trying to follow the rule this year of getting them something. What is it? Something you want, something you read, something to wear. I knew I'd butcher it. Something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read. I love that idea. So just trying to keep those kind of categories in mind. Like for something to read, it probably won't be one book. It'd probably be like 2 or 3. But you know what I mean? Just that general idea I think is great. And it's going to help us kind of curb the spending, because I do think it can be hard, especially when you have multiple kids, to stick to your budget. Because if one kid has one more, then you think, well, we should even them out. Like, will they really notice? Maybe, maybe not. You know what I mean? You start doing that game and then it just snowballs. I was just talking to my sister about this too, and she has a lot of kids and she goes through the same thing. So point is, I feel like that'll help us kind of be smarter about the gifts we're picking out. And also, I know what kinds of toys they play with and what kinds of toys they don't. And really being smart about what I am choosing to bring into my home for them. You know what I mean? Now, I don't have control over what Santa might bring them. So we'll see what Santa brings them. But for the gifts from mommy and daddy, I did pull back out this bad boy, the Catrice concealer I get on Amazon. That is so good. We've got our plans set for December, like various things we're doing. I was trying to line up, like there's 1 or 2 nights in December where we need a babysitter. So making sure we've got, I know one of my sisters is going to watch the girls one night and do some Christmassy things with them. Yeah, just gearing up. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling this holiday season? My goal, as I've mentioned before, is just to take a chill pill. Like literally just relax into the season. Nothing is that serious. You know what I mean? None of these things is that serious. And if I'm not able to make that 3rd or 4th Christmas cookie that I wanted to make, it's just not a big deal. Like none of this is worth stressing about when all I'm trying to do is enjoy the holiday season with my family. So that is my mindset going into this month. But do any of you guys do the like decluttering before the holidays kind of thing? I know a lot of people get into that spring cleaning mode in the spring and they're like, okay, I'm gonna clear house. I'm getting that urge. We're opening the windows. We're cleaning the house. I get that urge before Christmas. And honestly, I'm kind of thankful I do, because it is a good reminder like, hey, a lot of these things that you just had to get them are not necessarily toys they ended up wanting to play with much. So I will include in my gift guide that's going up next my top kids picks towards the end of the video. And those will be things that have I've had kids for nearly 7 years now, that have withstood the test of time. Like what are those toys that you bought and they still play with in multiple ways, both kids. So I will definitely share that, because I have a handful that I tell everyone I know, like, hey, if you need a good idea for your kiddo, you might consider this. Anyway, so let's get to some of your juicy questions, because I don't feel like there's crazy amounts to update you guys on, which I feel like is nice. We've been in a nice kind of contented space. You know what I mean? Where I feel at peace. Nothing crazy. I don't know. I want to be thankful for these moments though, because when things aren't peaceful in your life, it's kind of like when you are going through your normal life, feeling healthy maybe, and then you get a really big sickness or really big illness, and it makes you so much more thankful for the times that you were healthy. And I want to keep that mindset. Like right now, I'm feeling very much at peace, and I want to remember and appreciate this for those times when I'm not, because those times definitely come. I took some screenshots on my Instagram. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Does someone manage your YouTube channel? Tish LaTorres asked. No, just me. Me, myself, and I do. The only people I have hired are my wonderful, wonderful editors, who have become also my friends, which is incredible. They do that, and honestly, that is the heavy lifting for me. But it's nice because that's also freed up. I mean, they've been editing now for me for years. But it's nice because it has freed up some time so that we could start our Disney podcast, so that I could do more stuff on social media. And you know what I mean? And kind of branch out in that way. I'm so thankful that I made that decision when I did. But yeah, management-wise, no manager. just me. Daisy asked, how do you cope with such negativity and toxicity on the internet? You're doing great, by the way. Thank you very much. I don't know, you guys. I have been doing this for 15 years. At a certain point, a lot of the comments just roll off my back, the mean ones, because some of them are just to be expected. Like, there's certain things I could tell you, if I say something a certain way, even though I know I don't mean it that way, I will get this comment and I will get that comment. Like, it's so funny, you know, Tyler and I'll be watching back a video he edited, and I'll be like, you got to cut that part out. He's like, why? And he's like, because even though I know you don't mean it this way, it will be taken in this way. You will get this comment. So, and at other times we'll just leave something in because we're like, yeah, I can deal with one person thinking we meant it this way when we didn't, especially with small things, but it's just tiring. And I feel like we all experience this in life. It's so tiring to feel like anything you ever say can be misconstrued. And I don't just mean like doing what I do. I just feel like you post something on Facebook that's just your friends and family and someone misunderstands it and it creates this whole war in the comments and you're like, okay, wow, this is not at all. I'm in this like random moms group on Facebook, like locally, and I never post on there. I just like see, you know, people ask like, oh, do you have any recommendations for a pediatrician or this, that, and the other? But every once in a while, someone will post something and I'll think, oh, that's innocent enough. I wish I could think of an exact example. But then you go to the comment section and people are ripping this mom apart for something she very clearly didn't mean. And I'm like, gosh, what world, what timeline are we living in that this is okay? You know, I can get past a lot of things. Like, for one example in my own world is that on my Instagram a few weeks ago, I posted about, and I literally, you guys, I filmed it in like 10 seconds and uploaded it like right away. Like, I didn't put a lot of thought into it. It was in the moment. I had heard people say that they'd found mold in their allegedly, okay, legally, allegedly mold in their Patrick Ta palette. I have a Patrick Ta palette, so I went to look and I'm like, gross. Mine looks exactly like what the people online were all talking about. And then so anyway, I posted about it and I kind of did it in a different style. So some people were upset about me doing it in a style that I don't normally do, which was, that was just fascinating. But moving beyond that, like, that was what it was. I ended up doing a part 2 and 3, kind of explaining and showing it closer up, because in the first part that I uploaded on there, you really couldn't, I thought you could, I was using my phone. You really couldn't see what I was seeing. So in part 2, you could see it a little bit better. But it's so funny. That thing, you guys, never in my life, that thing got over 1 million views. And boy, a lot of you guys are in there and you're like, guys, calm down. Like, if you thought there was mold in your eyeshadow palette, you probably wouldn't want to use it either. I don't know. You just never know what people's reaction is on the internet. So it just is what it is. I haven't taken it down because I don't regret anything I did. Like, I feel that it's mold. Someone was like, well, why don't you take it to a lab and get it tested? I'm like, okay, with what time? I'm not doing that. I'm not spending the money to do that. That's not my point. My point is, I just wanted to share that, hey, if you have this palette, you might look at it, you might think about it. If you want to do that for yourself, go for it. So I guess my point is, like, anytime you post anything, if you are not absolutely perfect and crossing, like, if I posted that and then also said, and then I took it to a lab and got this, there would still be people saying, well, did you check that the lab was verified XYZ? And did you make sure that the donors of that person wasn't, I'm like, what? Like, you cannot be perfect on the internet no matter how hard you try. And that is one thing I have had to let go of, is that no matter what, however innocent my content may be, someone will find fault with it. And then other people will steamroll and it will build and build. And it just is what it is. It just is what it is. I feel like as long as you're not intentionally doing stuff to harm other people or whatever, then at a certain point, you just gotta move on with your day. And I don't know. Am I dwelling on this? Obviously, this was like a big part of my life a few weeks ago because I did not expect that to go the way that it did. So there's my story on that in case you were curious of that. But is anyone else just kind of exhausted in the culture we're living in? It's just too exhausting. I do feel like the pendulum will eventually swing the other way. And I've been telling this to a lot of my friends when we'll talk about like how exhausting it is to do fancy footwork around everything you say when you're not usually trying to offend someone. Like, and again, I'm not talking about blatantly like cruel or, you know what I mean? I'm not talking about that kind of speech and content. I'm talking about general life things that somehow people will just get so offended by. I'm like, what in the world? I just feel like the pendulum has to swing back the other way. Like, it cannot remain where it is, where everyone is so, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Does that making any sense? It's the negativity. I get, that's really what I'm talking about. It's the negativity that, but going back to the question, negativity and toxicity on the internet. It is just rampant and it's exhausting. And you can watch any piece of content by anyone on the internet and look at the comments, and the top few ones you're gonna see are gonna be something picking apart that person. Like, do you know your eyes are uneven? Did you know that, you need to get your brows done? Did you know that, like, just truly just cruel for no reason. You know what I mean? Pottery Browns, hey. So some of you guys that have been following me a long time and always comment, I recognize your usernames. Like, and it's so cool when I'll randomly meet some of you guys in the real world, and you'll say, I'm so-and-so online. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I recognize so many of your guys' screen names. Anyway, I'm in the trenches of life with a newborn. Congratulations. Any advice? Oh, just hang in there. I will say I have the ability now to look back, but you don't. Especially, like, assuming it's your first, like, you don't have the ability to look back on this. You are, like you said, in the trenches. But I promise you, and people told me this over and over again, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I promise you, you will look back on this and be like, wow, what a moment in time. So glad I'm on the other side of it, but also you will miss, as you know, you will miss these tiny snuggles. Like, I'm already at the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I miss my baby just falling asleep on me wherever I'm at. I miss the closeness of that. I miss, like, just all of it. So it is hard. You can't downplay how hard it is. I see you, girl. I know it's hard. You can do this. You can do this. You've done anything you've gotten through in your life that was hard. You got through it. You can get through this. I promise you can, and I promise you will. But yeah, just keep on keeping on day by day. That's all you can do is take it day by day. And suddenly you'll look back and be like, oh my gosh, you are not a newborn anymore. What happened? That's another thing though. Like, anytime I'm having internet woes, then I go play with my kids and everything is shifted back into alignment for me. And what I mean by that is I'm reminded that so much of what we see on the internet when we're scrolling, and of course for me, this is my job too, it's not tangible. Like, it's real, but it's not real. And I think it's easy to forget that. Like, Tyler and I talk about all the time, like, if I were to walk away from the internet tomorrow and I said, shut it down, shut down the YouTube channel, close my Instagram. If I walked away tomorrow, none of these comments that have been said, none of these XYZ would matter because they're not actually physically affecting me. Now, that doesn't mean that the mental effect isn't still there, but I think it's helpful to remember that, especially if you are in a creative space or you post on the internet or whatever. It's important to remember that you can step away. You do have the option, and that your real life is still there waiting for you. And a lot of that is not affected by that. So I try to keep that in mind. I think it's a healthy mindset for someone that does this, because it can be easy to forget, because this is my world. I mean, my YouTube channel is my job. I think about it all the time. I post and film for it all the time. I'm vlogging my life all the time for YouTube. Like, this is a big, big, big part of my life right now. And so it can be easy to not be able to separate it to a certain extent. I just think it's helpful to still be grounded in your own non-virtual world. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I'm giving myself a pep talk here, okay, you guys? Some of you guys are listening, you're like, Jessica, this doesn't apply to me. I'm like, sorry, this is just for me. Kelly Ann DeCarlo, hey girl, said, did you see the Wicked movie? Not yet, not as of filming time, and we have no plans because we need to get a sitter. I'm like, we're already, we've got a couple nights this next month where we need a sitter, so I'm like, do we really want to find another one? But I'm like, I'm dying. Guys, come on. Musical theater's in my blood. I love Wicked. A fun fact about me is that I was in callbacks for the Wicked tour. Was it the tour or was it for Broadway? I actually don't know. Anyway, and I had auditioned for Elphaba, but they called me back for Glinda, which fascinated me because that is not my vibe at all. Like, please, I love Pink and all that. But I mean, vocally, not at all the way I sing. And so that was fascinating to me. So naturally, I didn't do as well. That's what I chalk it up to, because I'm just not right. Anyway, but I got called back, which was so cool. And that was such a fun experience. They were doing the auditions in Chicago, which is why I'm like, I think it was maybe for a tour, but I don't actually know for sure. Nonetheless, it was super cool. It led to some other Broadway auditions and callbacks that I did. And that was when I was going to school for theater. So it was like in the throes of that. I was in the mindset, you know. But anyway, my point in saying that is Wicked is so close to my heart. I mean, come on. Tyler, he was telling me that for his 13th birthday, all he wanted was for his mom to take him to Wicked in Chicago, which is like 3 hours from us here. Like that was his birthday. They did that little trip. Like it was so special. So for both of us, we are dying to see it. We've just got to figure out the logistics. I have a feeling if we don't watch it in the next week, we'll probably do it after Christmas, like maybe in that week before they go back to school. So we will eventually see it. The good news is there can't be any spoilers because we already know all that, you know. But yeah, I am super excited to see it. I know I will be so emotional. Also, I didn't realize that a lot of people didn't know that it was just part 1. But part 2 is coming out in like 2025. So it's not too far away really. And I know they've already filmed a lot of part 2, all of part 2. I don't know how much of it they filmed, but I know they've definitely filmed some of it. But have you heard people talk about, you know, you remember that Elvis movie that came out a few years ago and Austin Butler kind of like became Elvis, and like even in his interviews, like on talk shows, he would kind of sound like Elvis. When I watched him in the Carrie Diaries and he does not talk like, you know what I mean? But it's like that character consumed him. Well, people are saying the same thing about Ariana Grande, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They'll watch old interviews of her like from a few years ago and she talks and her manner, everything is totally different than it is now. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of funny. She's like become Glinda. Glinda has possessed her. This is that MAC liner in Costa Riche. I love the brown, but it's not as easy to like smudge as, well, let me rephrase. The smudging is not, I guess it smudges fine. It's just I can't get enough down when I first apply it. Like I feel like I want it to be a little bit creamier. Maybe I'll just put it on the actual brush. Maybe that's the move. But this color is beautiful. It's such a beautiful brown. Anyway, so that's the story on that. I don't remember if I shared this on my story or not, but I laughed at the idea that they said, you know, at the end of Wicked Part 1 or Part 2, whatever, have the, you know, it zoom in on like the hat where the witch melted, right? And then have Lin-Manuel Miranda as Alexander Hamilton walk out and pick up the hat. And it's like the start of the musical theater cinematic universe, kind of like the Marvel universe. And so then we'd get like a movie version of Hamilton and a movie. I love the idea. I mean, honestly, I feel like the musical theater cinematic universe is already on a roll. They did In the Heights, which I loved. I feel like they're doing a lot, but I want more. Oh, I love musicals. Okay. Was it scary to crawl inside the pyramids? So if you didn't know, well over a year ago now, we went to Egypt. It was the trip of a lifetime, you guys. Tyler just uploaded, I think they're all up now, our 7 vlog series from that trip. It took him a long time to edit. I am so proud of them. They're so beautifully done, you guys. Go at least watch one. Skim through it if you're not into, I'm telling you, he blew me away. Like those belong on like the Travel Channel, even though the Travel Channel only does food now or like ghost paranormal stuff, but you know what I mean. They are so beautifully done. And I was just emotional and astounded watching back those videos. So definitely give him a little love support. That's the same channel that Vlogmas will be on. So if you're over there, he amazes me all of the time. He really does. But oh, back to the actual question at hand. So yeah, episode, I want to say 3 or 4, we went to the Great Pyramid and we had like it was with Adventures by Disney. Highly recommend. And they got like a private, it was like after hours, a private entrance to the Great Pyramid. And you go all the way in to see the tomb. And then you can also go in, I think, the Queen's Chamber. But that one was harder to get to and you have to like crawl basically. And I am semi-claustrophobic. I think it was one of those things in life that if I had been anywhere else, I probably would not have done it. But because I was in Egypt and I was such an Egypt nerd as a kid and this was such a once in a lifetime opportunity, I was like, I'm just gonna grin and bear it. And I did. Oh, I did. I will say like the tunnel that you like crawl, walk kind of through, I would wait until there was no one, like until anyone that was in front of me was already through before I would start. And that helped. So if you're ever in this kind of situation, not necessarily the pyramid, but if it's like one of those kinds of things, I would wait till there was no one in my way so I could go as fast as I wanted through and not be stuck between people. That would have freaked me out. Sorry if I'm like giving anyone the heebie-jeebies. I know I'm like freaking myself out. Anyway, so yeah, that was very emotional for me. Probably top 3 moments of my life. Maybe top 5. I mean, having my kids, getting married, but you know what I mean. I don't think I've watched any of the episodes he's done without crying once. Anyway, juicy. Gail Sungram said, how do you keep politics out of family holidays. Oh my gosh. Other topics to discuss to steer clear of overlap. Well, pretty much impossible, right? But I come from a family that we do all believe different things. And I always tell my family members, and I've said on here, I don't belong to one political party. And I genuinely mean that. I think the idea of perfectly adhering to an entire set of beliefs that range from like personal beliefs to, social things to money and whatever. The idea of perfectly believing in all of these things that one party believes in, it doesn't make any sense. My point in saying that is, I think at a certain point, a lot of us just kind of pick a top issue or two that we feel the strongest about and vote that way. And that's kind of how I am. And it differs depending on what's going on and who's voted or who's running and who's, I've been very intentional about not sharing my thoughts and beliefs, but I've actually been pretty clear about my thoughts and beliefs. I'm incredibly moderate. There are certain things I'm one way about when it comes to money or social issues. And then there are other ones that I am, do you know what I'm saying? So like it varies. And so I think for most of us, we just pick what is our top button issue or two, see which aligns with that and go that route. But I do also think you have to take into effect the candidate you're voting for. Like, I do think that matters. So, anyway, so that's what I was saying. It's so funny. People are like, Jessica never shares. I'm like, yeah, I don't share because this is not meant to, we get enough politics outside of here. I do not need this to be another space that is dominating the conversation. If you want that, there's plenty out there, plenty on YouTube. We all need an escape from it, and that is why. But I'm actually being pretty clear about the fact that I'm really neither. And I think most of us are way more moderate than we maybe realize. And I do think it takes taking a step back to really look at what's going on. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Some of you guys are like, that doesn't make any sense, Jess. I don't know. I didn't answer your question. I'm so sorry. My thing is, I think if you've not made yourself clear about what you think and believe with your family, that for me has been kind of more powerful. Not that I've been like direct about certain things, but just that they know we maybe don't see eye to eye. So I think at this point, a lot of them will just, they don't bring it up to me. And I appreciate that. But that's my family. Like it totally depends. But I also will not engage anymore. I used to, but I just don't engage in the arguing. I don't think it's beneficial. I don't think I'm going to change any of their minds with arguing with them. And at a certain point, what we realize, I've talked about this before, but what we realize is, this is getting in the way of our loving relationships with our family, and it's not worth it. This is a worldly thing that it's not worth tearing apart these way deeper bonds that you have with family. And again, I'm talking from my own experience with my own family, and I know that differs wildly, but that's just my 2 cents. So that doesn't really help, I know. But what I've done, even if I hear someone talking about politics, I just get up and leave. Not like in the most rude, huffy, duffy way, but I just get up and leave the room, or I occupy myself with something else, or I just straight up change the subject. Or I have also said, let's not talk about politics, and we just talk about something else. I think that is probably the most fair thing to say. Everyone at this point agrees that politics have permeated everything. And anyone that can't understand why you might say, can we not talk about politics? I mean, I think most people would be like, yeah, all right, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, we all get it. Miss Christina Bro said, basement tour. We'll do that this vlogmas, I promise. So we redid our basement. Our neighbor, who is a literal jack of all trades. I mean, this is what he does, but he redid our basement. It is so beautiful. We absolutely love it. And that was probably 1.5 years. Was it like 2 years ago? And we kept promising you guys like a full-blown tour, and we still haven't done it. So we will try to do that in Vlogmas so that you guys can finally officially see it. We absolutely love it. We use it all the time. Melissa Lowe's asked, any ideas where Felicity gets her very blonde hair from? So I don't post, I try not to ever post the girls' like faces. They have not been shown in videos and stuff other than maybe their hands for years. And so I posted this picture of the back of them meeting Santa. I'll pop it here. They're so cute. I'm totally biased. Yeah, she has very, very blonde, very curly hair. I will say this, and you guys are gonna make fun of me. I have naturally very curly hair. And as a kid, I would see pictures of myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, like the curls were, I loved it. Is that wrong to say about yourself? I don't know. My point is, I would think about my own kids, and Gigi's hair is so beautiful and straight, which please, especially when I was younger, I would have loved to have straight hair. I mean, I guess even now, because I end up like blow drying it straight. My point is that I prayed that Felicity, I would have one daughter that would end up with curly hair. And boy, oh boy, did God come through, because that girl's hair is so curly. I think she definitely got the curls from me, but the blonde, Tyler's hair when he was her age was like white blonde. So I'm 100% certain that's where she got that from. So I'll be curious if it ends up staying that blonde or if it ends up darkening a bit. I hope it stays that blonde. It's so cute. But I know that, you know, with kids' hair, it just changes. But yeah, it's so sweet. I love both of their hair. Genevieve, I need to cut her hair. I sometimes forget because her hair took so long to grow when she was younger that now it grows at a normal rate. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, so I need to get her a little haircut. She told me she wants to cut her hair off to like here. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Maybe we'll meet in the middle somewhere. But she definitely needs a haircut. Put it on the list, you know? Fam asks, what do you think is the most overrated holiday tradition? Okay, if you have kids in the room, pause the video. I'll give you a minute. Kids in the room, pause the video. Don't let them see this, okay? All right, you ready? Elf on the Shelf. Overrated I don't think is the term. I don't want to start that. So many of my friends do it and it's adorable, okay? I have nothing against it. It is so cute, it's so magical, so fun, and like silly. What a silly, fun tradition. But it seems like so much work. It seems like so much work. You have to move that. That's what I'm saying. I hope you have no kids. Okay. You have to move that thing every night. Like come up with some crazy, like the idea of that. I'm like, everyone is already so busy. Like with what time? So that is one that I'm like, I don't want to start. So Tyler said the same thing. He's like, I don't ever want to start that. I'm like, me either. She came home asking, she's like, yeah, my friend has this elf that like creates mischief around his house. And I'm like, weird. That's so weird. Hope we don't ever have one of those in our house. I don't want one creating mischief. Anyway, I got past it this time. We'll see if I make it next time. Amy Miller asked, do you have carpal tunnel? So I took it off for filming, and also I've just been trying to give myself a break every once in a while because it makes me crazy. But I've been wearing kind of like a brace splint type thing. It doesn't hurt right now. But what I noticed was I was having a lot of pain when I would pick up Felicity. I've realized I use my wrist a lot to hold her. And super not good for your wrist. But when I posted about it, you guys overwhelmingly, so many of you guys were like, oh my gosh, it might be mommy's wrist. I mean, you know, colloquially known as mommy's wrist, which is de Cavan or something syndrome or anyway. Like, I think it's a type of tendonitis. I think I've caught it pretty early because it was only like a couple days of this and I was like, I should probably, you know, like stop lifting her that way, blah, blah, blah. So I've been wearing that when I sleep for sure. And then as much as I can throughout the day. So like couple hour blocks and then I'll take a break for an hour. But so it's been feeling pretty good. It's not bothering me, but I'm just trying to be really careful because I want it to be able to heal completely before using it again. And then I just forever need to adjust the way I'm holding her. When I hold her. I do have one of those like carrier things that it's like a sling she can kind of sit on. It's usually like I'm carrying her while we walk into church. You know what I mean? It's those kinds of things where it's like, am I gonna get the sling on just for that? But now I'm like, well, maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe. But I know they also have those like tush baby ones I've thought about, but she's also getting to that age where it's just like less and less being held every day. So we'll see. So I'm kind of curious, do you guys have any holiday tradition, no matter what holiday you celebrate, do you have any traditions you feel like sharing below? Because we are in that, I mentioned this last time, we're in that kind of tradition making mode where, you know, I'm kind of curious, like, what do you guys do? Is there a certain type of food you always make on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or a certain breakfast? Or I just think that's so sweet. This is actually going to be the first year where where it's just our little family of 4 on Christmas. Things got shuffled around schedule-wise, so we usually on Christmas Day night, we'd be with Tyler's family, but we're doing that a different day. So like I said, this is the first year where it's like, oh my gosh, it's just gonna be us. Like, I don't know what I wanna do with all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, what do we wanna do? So we were talking about maybe like making it a tradition to do like pizza and a movie that evening and watch a Christmas movie or something, or was it one of you guys that mentioned like doing gingerbread houses on Christmas Day, like midday, and make that the tradition? I'm like, that's so cute. But the other thing about traditions is like a lot of the best ones just start. I was watching, was it the Snowy Day? Have you guys seen, I was just talking to my brother about this. Have you guys seen the cute little like 40-minute movie, I don't know what to call it, of the book, The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats is one of my all-time favorite books. My girls love it too. And they have this 40-minute movie, and it has Boys to Men singing this beautiful melody throughout. Oh my gosh. We've seen it a million times. I say that, but I can't remember if this is from it or not. At one point, maybe it was a different show, but at one point they were like, all right, let's make snowman pancakes. And then the kid said, oh, we make that, of course, that's our tradition. We do that all the time, or every year on Christmas Eve or whatever. And the mom was like, oh, did I make these last year? Like, I've never felt more seen by a mom on a show. Oh, did I do that last year? And he was like, yeah, we did it on, and she's like, oh, I guess it is a tradition then. And I'm like, that's the thing. Like, I think kids pick up on a tradition that was just organically created or just happened quicker than adults do. And so I thought that was so endearing. So I'm trying to keep that in mind too. Like, we don't need to force traditions, but I do think there's some cute ones that you could do. Not Elf on the Shelf. All right. That's pretty much that on the makeup. I've definitely been using a lot more powder lately. I just feel like my skin has kind of become a little more oily. I'm not mad about it because if I'm trying to choose between like oily and dry, I don't know what I'd prefer, but it used to be kind of more combo, and now I really do feel like my skin has leaned more oily than it used to be. So just reporting it. This thermal shirt, by the way, is from Old Navy. Oh my gosh, I love it. Let me just show you. It's warm, but not too warm, but it is warm. It hits it about like right at your natural hip. It is, I'm just wearing it with joggers, but it is so comfy. They have it like pink. I've got it in a brown. They have other colors, but I just feel like an everyday winter shirt that you don't have to think about. It's not see-through. You don't need like another shirt underneath it. But it's not super dressy. But you could wear it with jeans, you could wear it with like whatever. This is it. That's all. I just want to give it a shout out because this is like the kind of shirt I feel like I've been looking for a while, and I was like, yes. By the way, I ended up adding on a lippy. This is I always forget to do that. The Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump in Cherry Blossom. I absolutely love this. So thank you to Rakuten, of course, for sponsoring a part of this video. If you want to sign up for Rakuten, I'm telling you guys, it's worth it. It is so easy to use. It's free, and you'll get cash back on things you're already buying anyway, whether it's the holiday season or not. So right now they're offering a $40 sign-up bonus. So if you click the link in my description box and in a pinned comment, that will get you your $40 sign-up bonus. You can get started earning cash back in addition to that. So thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. I love ya. I hope that we'll see you over in our Vlogmas videos. I'm not doing any more vlogs here on this channel this month, because I mean, at a certain point, I can't do separate vlog, like that's too much. So we are vlogging together over there. Definitely check it out. I'll link day one's Vlogmas video below and the playlist if you want to follow along as we go through the month. I love you all so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.